Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I am still Blue Moony, fantasy writer and shy magical library in human skin. Oh dear, I have just about hit my limit, I think, with NaNoWriMo combining with everything happening personal life-wise. It's a lot. I mean, NaNoWriMo it's always a lot. It always is. But I think streaming the whole thing has added another layer of difficulty onto it. Yes, I think I've said before, and I'll say it again, I don't think I'm planning on attempting to write a novel live again anytime soon. I will be sticking with shorts, and hopefully I can sort of build up, I'm not sure resistance is the correct word, but build up something that will help in writing live, as in writing, something readable and good live as opposed to notes. No matter how detailed the notes are, they're still notes. It's still writing, it's still work, it's still effort. I'm still putting so much of what I have to offer into trying to pull this story together. It's just not really happening at the moment. I'm so sorry. Oh dear. I'm guessing one of the reasons why novel writing live isn't working out quite how I hoped is that I suppose writing is in general quite a solitary thing, and it's very, very personal. And while, you're so excited for people to read something once you've finished it, it's really quite difficult to actually create it while others could be watching. And I suppose I hadn't thought about that a huge amount before starting this project. I mean, and if that's an issue, that issue will remain when I'm trying to do shorts, but I'm hopeful we can get more comfortable with that over time. I do have several short stories ready to go-ish. Yes, I won't be writing them from scratch from the beginning. I have several that I've pre-written that I would like to share. I'm not yet settled whether I'll do it by video or by stream. Probably more likely streaming it, and I will, type it out for you to see and then give it another edit and possibly, if I can remember, talk about what it was like writing them initially and where ideas came from. I'm not entirely sure anymore for a few of them. I should probably start, if I write shorts on my own that I want to share with you on stream, I should probably start taking notes about how they came about. Yes. Yes, well. Yes, writing streams will be primarily shorts related for a fair while after this. But yes, hopefully that means as well, with this project ending, I can start thinking ahead to what will hopefully be my novel release at one point next year. Serially, one chapter at a time. I haven't quite finished this edit yet. I think I've said before. I'm not sure I'll finish before the end of the year, but I might be able to get close. And I suppose the other thing holding me back with that is that I am so hung up on perfection, which I am not going to achieve without, the support that traditional publishing provides, because I just can't. I can't afford professional editing. I just can't. So I'll just have to do the best myself, and hopefully if anyone enjoys the story and they read it, if they pick up on anything that needs work, I can fix things up. That's the beauty of publishing things online initially. And, once the story's up, if people like it and I can get it in a state where I'm happy to make an ebook or possibly a print on demand, we can think about that then. That would be lovely. But yes, I should focus on releasing online first. At this point, for these stories at least, it's probably going to be just on a personal website, and I know that causes all sorts of difficulties because there's no built-in audience like on Wattpad or Inkit or Tapas or sites like that. But I suppose the counter-argument is, some of those sites are just so big and so oversaturated. It's almost as impossible to be noticed as it is on a personal website. And there's a few other reasons I'm more leaning towards that at the moment. Although I am very open to suggestions if anyone has any. What do you know about publishing online? Every 6 months or so I go through the cycle again, thinking about all the sites available to me and other potential options, such as, novel apps, and whether I should try to get a novel on those. But yeah, I just keep coming back to personal websites, probably the best way to go. I just have to do my best to figure out how to find a beautiful audience who would love my story as much as I do. Sorry. I have wanted to be a writer for so long. I've just, up until a few years ago, I just hadn't even imagined that I wouldn't be traditionally published, but, things change. I don't think I've changed very much. I honestly don't think I've changed much since I was around 12 years old or so. But the world has changed. Publishing has changed. Attention spans have changed. Oh, and that it will probably be to my advantage, wouldn't it? Publishing online in small bits and pieces, so people can have their bite of fiction and move on with their day. It's just finding the initial audience. And I'm terrible at advertising, and even worse at self-promotion. Oh yeah, so if anyone has any thoughts about how to tackle this, I'm very, very open to listening to them. Excuse me a moment. Rightio. So I did a few calculations before starting tonight. If I can type just under 1,400 words both today and tomorrow, we will hit 50,000. So it would make sense really for me to aim for par, just to give myself less to do tomorrow. But I'm exhausted. I was nodding off as I was trying to get my small one to sleep. I was, trying to rest in the afternoon. Couldn't sleep, but couldn't move either. Yes. And we've hit an interesting point in trying to write this story, this fate story. working title still Fate at the cellular level, although I find it reasonably unlikely we will stick with that title. But just so much has sort of changed about what we've already written that in order to continue writing the story, I don't think it's possible to continue doing it without going back and making all the changes that I need to make. And I can't really do that during NaNoWriMo because that removes words. So I've been sort of scrounging around trying to think of things that will be happening in the story in the future that would not really be affected by what we've already written too much. It's just, I've been going through the chapter outlines going ahead, and so much of it no longer applies because we've altered earlier things. And so, yes, when I do come back to this story, I'm going to have to redo the outline pretty much from when Liot starts school onwards and fix that up. But there are a few events that I think I can at least take notes on, because they will be happening regardless. They'll be in a different place and under slightly different circumstances, but they will be happening. And so I didn't really get any time today to take notes in advance. I tried to do a few in the half hour or so before starting the stream, but as previously mentioned, exhaustion levels are, unusually high. Well, maybe not unusually high, uncharacteristically high, unexpectedly high, an un-word. Choose appropriate un-word and insert it before high. And that will describe my current state, I'm sure. But I managed to get a few things down, and we can add to them as we go. But first up, let's jump over here and have a quick look at our stats. How are we doing? Where are we going? We're going towards 50,000 words, that's where we're going. And we're at 47,000, whoa, highlight the whole number please, 47,332 words of 50,000. And yes, I do not need 534 today to achieve 50,000, because as you know, we are losing our final 3 days. So we need to hit 50,000 tomorrow. So no pressure, Blue. No pressure. I'm hoping there's no actual pressure. It's, just under 1,400 words both days, and I've been hitting, above that for the majority of my writing days. The majority of them. But, what percentage are we at again? Let's just have a quick jump back over here. 95%. If I pushed and I could think of more things to do today, I could possibly hit the 50,000 today, but I really do not want to push. I hope you'll understand. It's yes, a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, and hopefully that'll get us there. Okay, let's bring up Scrivener and let's try to do this. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Let's go into writing mode. Righto. So this is the outline I was looking at before starting, and so you'll see most of this won't really apply anymore because we have Liot kind of improving, well, not before this point, but we've moved the timeline, altered the timeline a fair amount, so none of his doing poorly here really works, because by the time we hit Trouse stuff, Liot's already sort of well in the top the top 10% and reaching towards the top 5% of his cohort. But I was thinking we could probably, let's go to notes for today, lovely blank page. We could probably think about the inter-cohort social event where Liot meets Traus and Faye and Greener for the first time. And it'll be, it won't be our first meeting with Traus, because we'll have seen him in a Traus chapter or two, possibly a Brioc chapter before now. But this is Liot's first time interacting with him and seeing him in person, so it'll be quite important in that respect. And I still just find it so, not odd, not frustrating, some sort of combination of the two, without being fully either. But, we've been writing all month and we haven't actually reached Traus yet, so we can just try to do a little bit of Traus here. I probably won't even go into too much detail because I'm too tired. Won't be able to do him justice. I think this story does need, me locked in a room for a few months straight to just get it done, but sadly that can't happen. So yes, when I can get back to this story, the first thing I'll do is revamp the outline and get everything exactly where it needs to be for both books in it. I think for both books in the duology, and then I will do my best to pull together properly as many chapters as I can to be a sort of backlog, and then perhaps we can have a second novel being released alongside my main projects. Although honestly, if I was going to pick a second project, I don't know if it would be this one. It would possibly make sense for it to be this one, given it's the one I did for NaNoWriMo. But it's so difficult when I have so many projects that I desperately want to be working on. And a lot of them in my mind take priority over this one just because I've had them for so much longer and I've been so attached to them for so long. And as much as I am coming to adore this story, given it hasn't been with me long enough, there's just not the same levels of attachment. But again, that may be another reason to try to use it early on. Not a practice novel as such, but an earlier one. I think I've read a few things that say authors, publishing companies place way too much emphasis on an author's debut. It's just one book. You can write so many more. And that's what we're going to do, hopefully, because I have so many to write. But yes, I've got a lot to think about in that respect, don't I? Well, I suppose if I can find some time in the first few months of the new year to pull the outline together as best I can, maybe I will be hit by inspiration bolts or motivation bolts, and I can feel like I can get this done in a not ridiculous amount of time, and we can see what happens. Okay. Let's give this a go. So, the event where Liot meets Traus for the first time. So, this is the it's probably an annual or biannual event. Possibly just annual. I think in general the cohorts don't have a huge amount to do with each other. I mean, they're very, very preoccupied with themselves and competing with each other. They don't have a huge amount of time to compete with the other cohorts, and they don't really have to. Though I kind of like the idea that there's a little bit of rivalry between cohorts of a very similar age. Oh, another important point. I think them starting off at 12 is silly. Let's shift it up to 14. Liot can be 14. The First chosen ones are chosen at 14. That makes a lot more sense to me. And in doing that, I may also drag back some other ages as well and just have your time in a chosen one cohort is maybe between the ages of 14 and 20, or maybe 22, and that's the age where everyone sort of splits off into their very important jobs. Yes, that makes, I guess, the younger years seem even more critical, and even more emphasis on shadings of ageism for one thing, thinking that once you're past 22, 25, you're no further, hero use at least, or idol use. You have to go into government now. Be important in another way. That doesn't require you being on TV constantly. But yeah, so maybe I'll throw that down just so I don't forget. I don't think I would forget, but I don't think I've actually taken the note. Well, not from age 14, but start from age 14. You can still come in at any point over the first few years, although it's very rare after 16 for anyone to join a cohort. Shall we give them 10 years to make it 24? So in chosen ones, sort of in school, in athlete mode, in idol mode, in hero mode until they're 24. It just seems like such a short time. And maybe, that's kind of the point, I guess. Oh dear. It can happen. What age should they stop testing then? Because I don't think they'd test all the way up to 24. Maybe stop testing at 18 and make it was Min's last chance. Weren't we making her 17? You might have to play around with the ages to make things work. So yes, I'll shift that note later to somewhere more appropriate. Oh dear, this font is way too small, isn't it? Up we go. There we go. Okay, so the event, Elliot meets Strauss for the first time. So how is it first brought up? I'm guessing some kind of message. Some sort of memo, and I'm guessing they wouldn't put posters up, but there'd be screens scrolling through notices, and possibly let's have the first time they notice it on a screen, and then they receive a message on their tech pads later. I do not think the name TechPad will stick, but I'm using it while we've got it. So. Give it a name. possibly just as walking between classes. Probably a stereotypical but I've got nothing to wear sort of thing from Lolaya. Happens every year, one time, or 10 cohorts get together. Yes. Supposed to be for making connections, sort of getting to know people who you'll be working with in the future, I guess. Actually, I think, the cohorts will probably be cut, and only the top 10% kept. At the end of the year, a cohort turns 17. That way, when it hits 18, cohorts are much, much smaller. Camaraderie, city pride, etc. Teacher, probably almost lost temper several times. What class is this? I think he's gotten fairly good at tuning things out. Possibly some advice from the teacher to Liot. Finding a good mentor. Keep mentioning mentors, but the sign Didn't say anything about that. I have been planning on having a sort of information session about the social event closer to it, but maybe they have it that day, given everyone's so distracted. Maybe free period at the end of the day. Some people complaining about having to cancel plans when they're called to the lecture hall during their free period at the end of the day. But I think they do realise pretty quickly that yes, this is probably about the event. So brief meeting with cohort director. Being more given the director's going to give more detail, probably don't really need Henya to say too much. Nothing useful anyway. Explaining, what will happen, what it's for. Doesn't have to be too much, but her expectations of her cohort, behaviour wise, etc. Also mention of mentors/mentees, many older chosen ones take this as an opportunity to what's the word? Meet younger cohorts. That's not the words I'm after. Many older chosen ones take this as an opportunity to, I can think of this, scope out. I suppose students' works. many would participate as mentors given, the enormous pressures they're under themselves. Can I have the kids talking after the meeting? Or want to be picked because, I think it does amazing things for their image and social standing. Oh yeah, prominent, older chosen one. I think it also sort of goes on their profiles. And someone can comment about a time and it can decide rankings if two students are so close. So everyone will want to be picked. Whispers of, whispers, rumours that Trouse planning to pick mentee this year. Shock, amazement, excitement. Possibly some scorn from a few people. I suppose pretty much just calling Trouse really weird. I don't think of proper ways to put it, but this is still just keeping us on the right track. Okay, so set my bullet point there. There is shopping in the upper city, but most of the places where chosen ones would go would be more like celebrity tailors or something, and they have a few options of work, but everything is designed for the person who orders it. There is there's plenty of things on the shelf, but for an event like this, I think most people would have something made. But this is probably a good opportunity to talk about shopping in the upper city. I'm not sure anything's fully mass-produced, not the way uniforms are for the inner city. they do have their own stylists, but are they tailors themselves? I don't know. I kind of don't want to go into too much detail in this story with fashion and the stylists, because in another story that I have, that's quite important. Maybe it's more here that their stylists don't make the clothes themselves, but they, help shop and design outfits and such. I'll just make a note here. I don't know, maybe we should remove stylists altogether. Maybe that's too much. Maybe a person who can hire stylists when required. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure they'd trust the inner city kids, at least, to fill their wardrobes properly, but I'm guessing, it was done for them initially. I don't know. I'll think more about that later. I think I prefer the kids going and getting stuff designed for themselves with the help of celebrity tailors. Might be more fun. Anyway, so we know, of course, the one who will be most excited about this is Lolaye. No, American English Zeds. I think he's mostly just being dragged along. Probably Henya too. I think Henya's probably got some bad memories associated with shopping. But he probably wouldn't really show it. It would just be coming out from her reluctance in general to be there. What to do? Probably keep them all in the one place. Possibly. Lolaya goes to her favourite place and excitedly greets the designer, but I think she would be very quickly overshadowed by Liot and possibly Henya as well. Henya's, well known given her mother's position, even though Henya's a bit of a black sheep. It's still the association is there. So I have a feeling this designer will be far happier to make things for Liot and Henya, and maybe Lolaya winds up with an apprentice or a less famous designer who works underneath this one, which, she would not be happy with initially, but Lolaya's, she's fairly quick to recover most of the time. I don't think she really shows more than bursts of frustration or anger at these points, because she's very good at holding it in, but I think at some point it will possibly break out. Oh dear, let's try to get some of that down. Okay, so I don't think she'd lead them straight there. She'd have more fun sort of browsing on the way. use. There's the shelves. I use. Sorry, I know it doesn't matter. The squiggly red lines make me unhappy. I can put up with it for names, but I need to type in American English. I can do it. I promise you I can. Just not well. Okay, your favorite designer. She gushing about her on the way. Various outfits designed for her and her family in the past. Expensive, but maybe she boasts about some sort of connection that a cousin has. Oh, maybe the cousin can actually work there. And maybe it's her cousin who winds up making her stuff. So that might be a reason she could be a little more cheerful. She knows her cousin very well and they know each other's tastes very well. They can just sort of, make a whole event of it. That could be fun. They could be having fun over in the corner designing wild stuff for Lalaya while Henya and Liot have to deal with the designer, I guess. I don't think either of them have much of an opinion about fashion at this point. I kind of like the idea that Liot develops more fashion sense as he's here, but I think Henya, it's another thing she makes a point to not care about, just because it's been forced on her for so long. Okay, can I remember all of this? Let's try. At the very least, I don't think we're going to have a problem hitting par today, which is useful because I think I'll barely have to hit 1,000 words tomorrow to hit 50,000 then. So, let's see what we can do. Can I remember this? Post about her cousin working. Would it be an apprentice or would you be a designer in her own right? Maybe apprentice there and is now an associate designer. That works. Yes. Okay, that's good. That's important. Okay. I'm not going to go into detail here about the shop. I'll give it a bit of a, well, at least, glitzy interior. I'll give it a bit more later. Because I like the word glitzy. It does a lot of work for a very small word, I find. Okay, glitzy interior. Probably sees cousin first and, ecstatic squealy greeting. I cannot spell ecstatic, it seems. There's no X in that word. Don't be ridiculous, Blue. There's no X in ecstatic. Cousin first, ecstatic, squealing, greeting. Cousin practically drops her word to run over. Lays on the flattery, favourite customer sort of thing. Please introduce us to your friends, EBC. Okay. Lalaya's pretty good at this. She'd know to save the more impressive one for later. But, Henya's pretty impressive on her own. But we'll introduce Henya first. What was it? Daughter of... I still haven't picked a name for the 3 leaders. I had picked her name there, but I've forgotten. Oh dear. Daughter of one of the big, important leaders. Hooray! Liot. You'd probably leave it at just Liot and let that sort of hang there, and the designer would catch on very quickly. not an evil grin, but I'm not sure what word I want there, actually. I'll just go with grin and I'll think of an adjective later. Shadow her immediately. Yeah. Frustration. Maybe even anger. But quick recovery. Work with her cousin to start designing outfit for the event. Oh, for some reason I really want to use the word gala now because, yeah, I think it'll work in this situation. Let's just throw that in there. Social gala, hooray. That sounds appropriately fancy. Down here. Has big ideas, very bold. And yeah, takes charge, trying to, settle him down a bit, I guess. Something more sedate. Less flashy, more subtle, subtly regal or something. I am your chosen prime, but not in a what's the word I'm after? Obnoxious way. Not too grand. He's only 14. Oh dear. And got to give Henya some love too. So, we can't spend too much time on, but maybe a interesting exchange between the two about her image and what she's going for. We are worried about payment. Waves it away. Don't worry about payment. Designing for, Leader's daughter and our future chosen prime. Afterwards, we are a bit confused. So does that mean we're not paying? Yep. But, yeah, don't question it. Most of my stuff's free. though. You could probably afford to buy 100 of them a week, sort of thing. I know that's not referring to anything in particular. When I throw in more detail, I'll make that make more sense. But that sort of vibe, anyway. To shower, free stuff on the rich but taking it even more. Nobody loves free stuff more than the rich. Okay. Probably glide over the time between there and the actual event. A few more small references to preparation. Maybe there can be a disaster haircut or something. Oh dear. Day of the gala. Excuse me a moment, sorry. Yes, the cough is not entirely gone yet, although it's far better than it was this time last week at least, so that's something. That's something. Oh dear, sorry. Mind is everywhere and nowhere. Happens a lot. Okay, day of the gala. Okay. So, I don't want to go into too much detail here right now. I'll just use this to pull it all together later. But, so, stuff about the food. Probably the most impressive fare to date. Food, speeches. I have a feeling this is such an important event. It's probably at least 2 of the 3 leaders. I think including Henya's mother, and I'm guessing Henya's outfit will probably turn some heads and possibly draw disapproval from Mother, which would make Henya very happy. If I'd paid him, I would have given a big tip. I'd probably actually make a point of thanking Lolaya for taking them there. Whatever it is. Possibly say something that might be a backhanded compliment, but, I couldn't pull it off, but you can. I don't think she's intending to be spiteful. This is just how she has become. I suppose we'll have to know what Liot's outfits is like, but I'm not in a frame of mind to imagine an amazing chosen prime candidate to be gala outfit. It's amazing. What is it? Oh dear. I really don't want to go into too much about clothes in this book, given, yeah, as I mentioned in another one of my stories, which I'm hopeful to write at one point, huge amount of stuff about clothes and clothes design and such. But I suppose it is important here. Oh dear. Okay, so where are we? Okay. So yes. Yes, it's not a sit-down dinner. No. Staff with platters, drinks, etc. Yes, possibly a warning earlier on from the director saying, something along the lines of alcohol is served. Make age 18 and older. I'm Australian. It's 18 here. We'll go with that. Yes, the of age changes a lot between all of my books. I think my main magical project, there is no one of age. It's like a series of coming of age special events, like just going through them, and it takes from 16 to 25 to hit all of them. Straight into mingling. I think Liot is just Henya's shadow throughout most of it. Dragged around by Goliath for a bit, but she's soon distracted by. She probably would have friends in older cohorts, possibly knew them through older siblings or something. I'll probably find a corner to try to avoid attention in. Possibly have someone who comes to talk to them comment, if you wanted to avoid attention, maybe you shouldn't have gone to that designer. Makes him look like a what? I'm thinking something like young god, but that's a bit much, I think. A prince, a hero, all of this sort of stuff. Lots of them sort of watching off to the side. Seems almost a spectator sport. All the kids rising up, younger ones trying to win attention, support from the older ones. How do we get Liot and Strauss to run into each other? Hmm. Well, I suppose the natural thing would be drinks are empty or they want to get more food or something, but or possibly we could have Liot have another run in with spicy. He's not very good with the spicy food, we discovered. Was it yesterday or the day before? One of them. Yes, not good with spicy, and possibly something he's just eaten. Yes, he needs liquid. That'll probably work. Maybe this is a good place for Liot to, be paying more attention to what people are wearing and sort of finding he quite likes clothes. Probably, Liot's comfortable enough to accidentally speak at the same time while eating. He probably would not do that under most circumstances, but he's comfortable with Henya now. Comfortable enough to speak with his mouth full. Super spicy. Oh no. Oh. No. Probably not just princely hero, but a princely hero idol. Let's add that. More fun. Oh no. What if he runs into someone and he thinks it's water, but it's not water? Dear. I'm gonna get into trouble, but I think the director would understand once it's explained. Oh dear. I think maybe first sip or first gulp he realizes what it is and puts it back. Yeah, possibly the staff tries to warn him, but Liot's too desperate at this point. Oh no, poor thing. guessing the director will probably actually see possibly brief talk, and then right after then run into Trouse. Or is it funnier if it's right here and Liot is, oh, he's 14, he's never had alcohol before, and he's just had 2 gulps of it. Probably not really showing any drug signs, but he's confused and distressed at least. Let's see. This moment we can have Trouse address him, maybe. He's got the 3rd gulp of the drink in his mouth, doesn't want to swallow it, but can't spit it out either, doesn't know what to do. So I guess the whole time he's just sort of holding it. Excuse me, or he'll have to swallow it to talk. Then as soon as the exchange is finished, his cohort director can come up and be like, yeah, can we have a word? I think she'll believe him very quickly that it was an accident. Okay, sorry, drifting a bit. We've gone over the word count that I need to get today, as long as I get the same amount tomorrow, but I'll keep going and try to hit par at least. I'll see if I can get through this event. Yes, not. Dear. We're okay. We're okay. Now, the idea with this confrontation is that it's pretty much fabricated by Trouse. He's, doesn't have any beef with Liot at all. It's all for the cameras. It's all trying to create a scenario between them because people will like that. It's also good for Trouse to sort of associate himself with Liot, but it's also good, conversely, for Liot to be associated with Trouse. Oh dear. So, even though we would have had some chapters with Trouse before, I don't think I would have really gone into much detail with his appearance at the very least. So probably be a good chance here to really give Trouse a really good description. Sorry, just having a look at something. Okay. So, appearance, physique, demeanor. Oh, there we go. I thought I had it that time. Oh well. Yeah, I'll refer to my character profiles to get this as close to perfect as possible. Can probably make a comparison. And I think this will be a good time for some over the top analogies. When I can think of them. Okay, so it's when he starts talking. At least, people have a gift to fill a room with one soft shout, rock the heavens sort of thing. Need to go into his manner of speaking, his posture, where he looks, etc. All of this is very important for Trouse. Like how he delivers his words. I think the idea with Trouse is that he's, very studious, very stern, very serious, but also at the same time very cool. Had another S word, didn't I? Stern, serious, studious. Cool doesn't feel like the right word, but along those lines. Probably a bit distant. Okay, so we will look to Trouse for his opinion of Liot. Given, Trouse is still the golden boy and currently, their city's best hope for a chosen prime. It is until Liot gets a bit older. So people probably already viewing these two as rivals. I think that might be an important note to throw in a bit earlier somewhere. Let's just throw this down here. Between Liot, Henya, and Walaya, people are already viewing Liot Liot and Trouse as rivals. Yep, not sure how to handle this information. Here we go. Yeah, I'll still keep that there because it's important to remember here. Here we are. Okay, so current opinion of Liot from the one-sided exchange. And Liot will probably swallow the alcohol in his mouth at one point just because feeling he might be trying to reply but then gets stuck in a coughing fit or something. Also a bit dizzy. Okay, Chaucer's current opinion of Liot. Doesn't dismiss him. Also doesn't seem hugely impressed. Perhaps some sort of comment about, I've heard you weren't much to begin with. Also heard you turned yourself around in just a few short months to be commended. But you're still just a child. Few years, we'll see if worthy of standing in my shoes, sort of thing. I don't think he'd be saying this in a condescending way, just in a matter-of-fact way. Serious. Trouse is a very serious young man. Okay. So yeah, that sounds about right. Lalai and Henya have both sort of crept towards Liot during this exchange. Just supporting presence. And yes, Lalai can whisper, wondering where Trouse is going. Leaves the gala. Tell Henya off, then speculating. He's so busy and important. Maybe he just came to see you. Maybe going to choose you as a mentee. And Lalaya, I am both so jealous of you and so happy for you. No way to stop it from the news of Liot's drinking from getting out, though, so possibly we'll just have to release some sort of statement. Just a warning to avoid spicy foods. Yeah, believes him probably. I can't help being a little bit amused. I kind of want Faye and Greener to approach him while he's out here. Or not leave, go back inside. Had a sort of silly, sort of sweet thought, like maybe he actually, seeks out chores to do. And to see him going to some sort of kitchen in his spare time and asking, please let me wash some dishes, please. Because it helps him feel better. That's his calm activity. I'm not quite sure how to start the conversation, but Faye and Greener, they're both very cheerful people. Very different from Trouse. Yes, Zeds. Well, it doesn't really seem very dramatic. It's only dramatic because it's Trouse. not only to be associated with one another, but what's the word I'm after? Not only associated, but, you know, significant people in each other's lives. I won't go into more detail. I'll figure it out properly. Oh dear. What is it? I think Faye and Greener might go on about how Trouse is sick of being the youngest chosen prime candidate. He's glad to finally have someone to haze or something. Just to make Liot nervous, but, you know, say they're joking fairly quickly. I was wondering whether I should have another interaction between Trouse and Liot here, but I don't think that's necessary. Maybe finish with Faye and Greener here. Just during the conversation. I'm not quite sure exactly what to do there, but that's okay. That's gotten us through this event anyway. It's gotten us through. Yes, I know it needs lots and lots of work and lots of detail that I haven't gone into. I know it's quite long already, but it doesn't have to be one chapter given my chapters are quite short. In this one, the gala could probably, or at least, introduction of the idea of the gala at the beginning of one chapter, and it could go over 2 or possibly 3. Probably don't need 3. We don't need to spend too much time on it. You know, it's not quite filler episode given we do have important meetings, but mostly world building and Trouse and Liot's meeting, so that's very important. So we've got all of that together. How are we doing for word counts? 49,396. Let's update that. Oh, I have to go for just a minute. My small one's calling me. Please hold on, I'm so sorry. to finish up quite quickly because over here. Oh dear, looks like we've been having some connection issues. Hopefully they're not causing you any trouble. Where are we? Here we are. So, what's our word count? 49,396. 49,396. Update progress. 99%. We only need to get around 600 words or so tomorrow. Slightly over that, so we're almost there. Almost there. So we should hit that without much trouble. Tomorrow. I'm glad we got through that event. It's good to know what's ahead and to know that we'll have a very, very detailed idea of what's going to be happening when I hit actually writing that properly. In any case, that's day 26 of NaNoWriMo. We're done for the day. And thank you so much for being here with me. The adventure's almost over, at least so far as NaNoWriMo is concerned. The adventure with regards to this actual book, it has barely begun. It has barely begun. But yes, the story may just have to be patient, as so many of my stories need to be, and wait its turn. I think Min and Liot can do that. Min is definitely very patient. I'm starting to think Liot maybe isn't. But that's fine. Yes. Thank you for being here. And good evening. Oh, I forgot how to speak for a moment. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. I hope the rest of your day is absolutely lovely, because that's what you deserve. Let's sing this. Oh, for the money that e'er I had, I have spent it in good company. Oh, and all the harm I've ever done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night, and joy be to you all. Until tomorrow.